So I just saw Civil War and wow, it was really interesting. Definitely not fully what I expected, but I'm also not disappointed either. I don't think that this movie is bad by any means. I've seen some people think that this movie is empty, and I don't really see that. I think that this movie actually has quite a bit to say, but maybe not about what the title would suggest. The title suggests that this movie is about the Civil War. This movie is political. I don't think this movie was really a political movie. It puts the US in a situation where there's a tyrannical president who is airstriking civilians. So, states like Texas and California, of course they're going to set aside their differences to get rid of that. Because at the end of the day, even in the real world, I could kind of see that happening. Just because, those are two very headstrong countries, and if they see something wrong, they have the power to change it. So I actually do kind of get it, which is sort of funny, because I didn't think I would like that whole Western forces of Texas and California aspect of this film. But now that I've seen it, I get it, and I really don't mind it. But anyways, what this film really has to say is about journalism, and about the lengths that journalists will go for a good story, and about ethical journalism versus unethical journalism. And I don't think it really puts us in a place where it's not telling us to make a decision. It's laying things out for us over the period of this film and allowing you to make your own decision. As most of you probably know, this movie stars Kirsten Dunst, Cailee Spaeny, Wagner Morra, and Nick Offerman. And they're all great in this film. Dunst and Spaeny specifically to me are standouts, and that's awesome for Spaeny in particular because now she's 2 for 2. And that's great because I think Spaeny is a fantastic actor, and I really can't wait to see her career flourish. I really hope that her career will end up flourishing, and I think that she has that potential because she's just such a good actor, but also she does look like a kid, and she embodies that kind of childlikeness, if that makes sense. And Kirsten Dunst, wow, she was fantastic. She just really fit this film like a glove, and I think that her performance to me was probably the best performance of the film, followed by Cailee Spaeny. But also, everyone was good. Nick Offerman, for the little bit of screen time he got, was really good. Wagner Morra, great performance. Jesse Plemmons, with his one scene, because yes, that bit from the trailer with Plemmons, it's one scene. But my God, might it be the best scene of the film. And also that's the thing with this movie. It's so intense. There's this tension that just carries and escalates throughout the film. And yes, you do get some slight moments of levity, but overall, this film is really tense. And I think that the evolution that it carries out with its characters and its story throughout the film is so well executed. Alex Garland is a really good director, and if this is his final film, it's a good film to really leave out on, but I highly doubt this will be his final film. And I'm excited to see what he's cooking up next, whether it is as a director or just as a writer. I think the pacing of this movie could have used a lot of work even, and yeah, it felt a lot slower than it was, and I feel like that's kind of the tendency with most of Alex Garland's films. And also I think the advertising, especially in the second trailer, was a little false. Yes, there was a lot of action in this film. There were explosions, there were military planes and jets and helicopters and this and that. But at the end of the day, that wasn't the centerpiece of this film. The main characters don't carry guns, they carry cameras. And personally, for me, as a fan of film, as a fan of journalism, I'm doing journalism right now, essentially, I eat that up. But I'm worried that this movie won't do too well in the long run because audiences won't be the biggest fan of the fact that it looked like a pure action film, when really it isn't a pure action film. It is still kind of an art house movie. I might be completely wrong and people might actually really enjoy this film, and I would love that. You know, Doom Part 2, I would have thought a few years ago that would be too art housey. So yeah, we'll see if audiences like Civil War. I highly recommend that you go and check out Civil War if it still seems like something that interests you. At the end of the day, I'm really torn in terms of my rating. Part of me wants to give it a 4, but another part of me wants to stick with 3.5, really because of the pacing. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna give this movie a 3.5. The pacing was really the one thing. It was an under 2-hour movie that felt like 2.5. With that being said, what about all of you? Please feel free to let me know what you thought of this movie in the comments down below. Do you disagree with me? Do you agree with me? I would love to start a discussion with all of you who want to talk about this film. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Feel free to like, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do while you're down there commenting your thoughts. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.